Hello and welcome to the IGN UK podcast. On this week's podcast, I'm joined by Chris Tilley.
Hello.
And Daniel Creeper.
That cunt.
Hola.
Oh, hola.
Hello, pod people.
Isn't that how you start all of your
Did you
live
mean
streams
to get us
these days?
confused then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sat in the wrong seat. I feel like I'm in the wrong seat.
What?
Anyway, forget the intros. Chris, you were in San Diego last week.
Yeah.
You were living the high life with some of Hollywood's biggest A-listers, right?
Indeed.
Like
Bunch of superheroes.
who?
Who was there?
Who's your... Well, actually, let's talk about your biggest meet.
My biggest
later.
meet and greet.
Yeah.
Later or now?
No, later. That's what
All
I
right.
said.
Well, what are you asking then? I'm just trying to answer the question.
Tell me who you interviewed.
Who did I interview? Well, not Hollywood's biggest stars, but some really interesting people, like Sue Virtue, who produces Sherlock. I interviewed
when I saw the thumbnail of that, I was like, who the heck is Chris talking to?
Well, it was
on the
couple of
thumbnail.
people.
That shouldn't have been on the thumbnail.
Well, maybe it was the social thumbnail.
She produced Men Behaving Badly.
Social thumbnail. What have I become?
All the Doctor Who people who were surprisingly chipper.
What, by all, who do you mean all?
Peter Capaldi.
Yep.
Jenna Coleman.
Yep.
Michelle Gomez, who plays Missy, a.k.a. The Master.
Right.
And Stephen Moffat, who's the showrunner, who's normally quite grumpy, but he was in very jocular.
How's Capaldi?
Couldn't have been friendlier or happier. The opposite of what he plays.
Okay.
So I don't know if he was in a good mood or they all just decided to be on for the cameras, but he was actually quite warm and nice.
Find out anything exciting?
Not really. I mean, they were all being very keeping their cards close to their chest about who Maisie Williams is playing in the show. Sure. But they all seem very excited about her role. So I think it could be something very interesting, maybe in more than one episode.
She's no one.
But it's interesting. Yeah, she was all about town, actually, as usual. She kind of makes her mark wherever she goes.
She loves it.
She's
She's great on
do?
social media.
There was a
She's like a cat.
a black limo went past me, and everyone's like, as they do at Comic-Con, roll the window. Who are you? Roll your window down. And the window comes down. It's her. She just starts waving. People went mental.
Right.
And she was just somewhere where you saw her everywhere, or she was photo bombing.
I just do that. Just do like loops of the convention.
Who are you? We know it's you,
Not
Maisie. Did you interview them in the studio on the balcony?
On the red carpet.
The balcony thing's weird. It looks good.
It's hard,
but then it's awkward. Yeah, no, it looks hard
because people are shouting things at you while you're doing the interview.
People are getting heckled,
and you can hear them. The people watching can't hear because the microphones, but we can hear it quite well. So it's hard to not get distracted by.
So what was the best heckle?
A lot. Well, because you're not really listening to them. There's quite. I mean, there's either people that recognise the celebs, so that's fine.
Not you.
But no. But sometimes. There are quite a few religious groups that go there to tell us we're all going to hell for liking Game of Thrones or whatever, and so they're kind of down there just shouting things at us, that's quite funny. What I like the most about that is there's a new Omen TV show called Damien coming on, and some people were being paid to promote that, holding similar signs, and they were following the Christians round, just saying, Damien is coming back, and the devil is, and that was just wherever I looked, and that was happening. Right. It was funny. What else? Who else did I interview? The one I was most excited about, but ended up not really working out, was Tarantino's new movie, The Hateful Eight. So I went and did the press line for that, and Tarantino showed up. I was there for 2 hours. Tarantino showed up with 1 minute to go and didn't answer a single question.
Good.
And then sort of the biggest star in the movie, Kurt Russell, was brought over to me, and just as I was asking my first question, he was just pulled away.
What was going to be that question, Chris?
It was
What's the killer opening question?
It was quite a boring question, but you probably only get two.
Yeah.
So the question was going to be, who do you play? Because we did a video called "Who Are the Hateful Eight?" Yeah. And I got.
You asked Tim Roth.
Tim Roth, Michael Madsen. So
Tim Roth saying nothing.
My second question was going to be a really good news vid, though. What do you think about The Rock being cast in Big Trouble in Little China? How do you feel about that?
You're not going to ask him about Overboard 2?
No.
I just realised.
Overboard again.
Who's seen Overboard, Alex?
A long time ago.
That's a quality movie.
It's a good movie.
I like that bit where he makes a little cabinet for shoes. Like you turn a handle and there's another layer.
Yeah, he's cool.
That's great. That's great.
Carpenter.
Different values back then.
Yeah, so I wasn't interviewing maybe the A-listers, I don't think. M. Night Shyamalan was the...
It's good that you can admit that on this podcast.
Jason Blum, M. Night Shyamalan. People I wanted to interview, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the Pride and Prejudice of Zombies people.
That mashup.
Whatevs. One of them was very handsome.
Okay, so as someone that was on the ground,
Yeah.
what's your kind of personal highlight of the show?
Well, it's hard because you're working. You miss a lot of the panels. So you guys saw a lot of things before I saw it, which is kind of annoying when you're there.
Same as E3.
Yeah, I think it was maybe 2 days before I saw the Batman v Superman trailer.
Right.
Because I kept forgetting and I was just running around, and then someone says, "Have you seen it?" And I was, no, I haven't.
Yeah.
But I was in the Universal and Fox panels on Saturday, so those were two big ones.
Yeah.
So that was when I did get to see stuff. So I was really excited to see X-Men Apocalypse and Deadpool.
Yep.
And the thing actually I probably most enjoyed was, because it's more up my street, was Krampus.
What's that?
Do you know about Krampus?
No.
So Krampus is it's a European folktale. I think it comes out of Austria, and it's like an evil version of Santa who will, rather than give you presents on Christmas because you've been well behaved, he just won't eat you and take you away if you're well behaved. So it's kind of a reverse.
Yeah.
And there's not been really. It's like a great concept, and there's
Probably
not been,
not a film that I'd show any of my kids.
Yeah,
Well,
but you'd
good
show
all
them,
year.
but you'd show them Gremlins eventually, and I think it's
When they're quite old.
yeah. This guy Mike Doherty, who did the film Trick or Treat, he's done a movie based on Krampus, which looked like it was in the Gremlins zone,
Right.
like funny but really good scares and kind of a funny, horrible creature.
Right.
So they showed the trailer for that, which was really good. Yeah, that had me most excited. But yeah, being there for the X-Men footage, seeing Apocalypse for the first time was really exciting.
If you were just a punter, so someone's listening to this podcast right now going, "Oh, I really love the look of the Comic-Con this year. I want to go next year." Like, what's it like if you were just a punter? Like, is there loads of stuff to do in addition to the panels? And if you wanted to go to the panels, like, how long are you realistically looking at queuing?
Yeah, I think I don't know because I haven't had to, but I think you're queuing for a good 10 hours to get into the Universal or the Fox panel. It's like you pick one panel for the day. But the thing is,
but then there's other stuff there.
the
and
thing
like,
is,
it's
though, the reason
camaraderie.
people queue overnight is once you're in Hall H, you don't have to leave.
Right.
You can stay for the whole day.
And that's where all the big stuff
yeah,
tends to
and so you
happen.
could, if you do camp overnight, for the Star Wars, you'll be there to see every other panel that day.
Right.
So you just have to pick and choose. But I think rather than doing 10 things in a day, you can do 1 or 2 things.
But that's a bit like Gamescom when we've been there before, and people literally
Go see like two
rush
games
in,
like
join
all
a
day.
queue, and then they're in that queue for 6 hours or something to play a game.
And
for
I guess
15
like
minutes,
you
which
know
is
the
crazy.
panels are like one aspect of it. It's like it's the community.
I think the
thing.
cosplaying makes it very sociable.
Yeah.
So I think you just go there to make friends and hang out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like, go out in the evening.
pick
and,
up
like,
a few toys and
Sweet
Yeah.
toys. That's
Yeah.
the other
it's
thing.
like lots of cool toys.
Yeah.
So what stuff did you see from your side of the Atlantic?
So I was kind of like I was watching a lot of our stuff anyway because you know.
Because it's the best stuff.
Yeah, we had some awesome people on the stream, so that was kind of keeping it on top of it. But also, once I knew the WB panel was happening, I was right on it, watching kind of live blogs, trying to get the news. And it was great that as soon as kind of they showed the trailer at Comic-Con, the Batman vs Superman, because I also had in another tab open, I had the Warner Brothers YouTube channel because I thought they'd drop it. They didn't confirm it, but it seemed like they might, and they released it like 10 minutes later.
Yeah,
it was almost pretty immediately. So I just watched that on loop for about like 10 times on Saturday night. So
that's what I find very strange about it all is that. Obviously, as a punter, you're going in there and you're seeing all these amazing trailers. You know, Batman, Superman, Deadpool, Warcraft, Suicide. But they're not releasing them officially online, apart from
that
Batman
one.
Superman.
Yeah.
But yet, like they're being leaked online. Like, why would you not control that and have good quality versions of those trailers going up? It's a public forum. Of course, it's going to leak. And I'm pretty sure that every single trailer that went up there has been leaked since.
Yeah.
Like we were waiting on Warcraft,
I think
and then eventually
it's just
that came
like
out yesterday. And,
Oh, did it?
yeah, and Duncan Jones did quite a funny tweet about it. So
What the really long?
Yeah, it was like almost 5 minutes. Or something
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
What did he say?
He was like, me in emergency marketing meetings, and it was a picture of Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park saying, "Life always finds a way." This kind of stuff.
It's like a perfect combination. The people who are very tech savvy in a room with their phones and computers, and it's about a subject that people are intensely interested on the internet about it.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't surprise that Warcraft one has come from a different source as it's been a few days.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine someone would sit on it and then suddenly.
Well, it was definitely shot from the audience.
Okay.
Because, so the two that I've seen most recently was the Warcraft one and the Deadpool one.
Yeah.
And then the thing that's kind of cool about it is that you're not only seeing the trailer, but
hearing reaction.
The reactions is brilliant because, like, the Deadpool stuff is hilarious because people are just losing their shit.
Yeah.
But Warcraft, I don't think people really kind of knew what to expect from that trailer, and it is kind of. I don't think what's up online right now probably does it justice.
And also, but a lot of it was people trying to hear what they were saying.
Right.
I could not understand what the orcs were saying, and I hope that's not a problem with the mix. I hope that was a problem with the audio in the auditorium.
Acoustics, yeah.
But I was hearing other ones better. But yeah, it was just I was really straining to, and because I was trying to make notes because I was trying to write it up, writing down some of the dialogue so I'd be able to kind of repeat, and I was not getting much of it.
You were waiting for that leaked version of the thing.
Yeah, I wish I'd known. I wish I'd known.
Should we go through specifics? Go through each trailer, or like the main ones? And
so obviously the big one was Batman versus Superman. I guess. And I've been quite open about that before Comic-Con. I've been a little bit lukewarm, but I really enjoed the trailer.
I think everyone's on the same page,
aren't
they? I think everyone
trailer.
was very disappointed with the first trailer. We said at the time of the superhero show, why release that when it's... Did anyone really think that was going to get people excited?
Yeah.
Why not wait? And then this trailer, there's moments in it that get you really excited. You want to see that now.
Yeah. I still think it's going to be horribly complicated and overlong. Yeah. But I think Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne looks great.
I don't think there's any surprise that Snyder can deliver a visually stunning trailer. Man of Steel trailers are stunning. Like any still from... You take a lot of stills from a Snyder movie and go, look at that, you frame that, looks beautiful, framing, like composition's great, and there's loads of shots in that trailer where it's like, that looks amazing. There's a scene where Batman's on the side of a building, he's about to grapple, and lightning flashes behind him, and it's actually the cover of The Dark Knight Returns. And he's just like riffing, and he's like combining all this kind of imagery, and he's a great visualist. You do watch and go, that's going to be 3.5 hours. And
minimum,
like the stuff in the desert, I assume that's a dream sequence. There's loads of crazy stuff in that.
To give her enough.
She's got a secret identity in it, like it seems.
Yeah.
To justify
How long's Aquaman's going to be in it?
If nothing else, the scene where Bruce Wayne is running into what looks, for all intents and purposes, like 9/11.
Yeah.
Everyone's running out of the disaster. He runs in. Is an amazing moment in that trailer.
That was the highlight of
it's great.
The trailer, like it looks like Superman's vision is like cut.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like seeing it from that perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But that suddenly went from not interested to actually, you kind of got me. Let's see what's going on here.
It's freaking Batman v Superman.
I know that, but
crazy
you know
that
my
we don't
opinion
feel that.
on. But it's Zack Snyder is my problem. I don't think he's a great storyteller, and I think there's probably still too much going on in there. I guess the biggest surprise for me was Deadpool, because I really like that. And in amongst a load of like superhero films that are taking themselves way too seriously, it was just a little bit of light-hearted relief.
I agree. We're always saying the superhero show, we want something a bit different.
Yeah.
And that's what Guardians gave us, and it feels like that'll give us something that's just totally off the wall compared to what else.
Yeah.
Almost more of what I was kind of hoping Ant-Man would be, even though I liked Ant-Man and Ant-Man isn't Deadpool. Yeah. I just thought I thought Ant-Man would be a bit braver in going a bit stranger and off the wall and kind of not following the Marvel formula. And yeah, it looked like fun.
Yeah.
I fear I might get annoyed with that character over the course of 2 hours, but I guess that's the challenge they've got. Plus, maybe you're supposed to be annoyed with him. You're supposed to enjoy watching him get his head kicked in and coming back.
Well, like one of the points that you made earlier is that because I remember seeing some negative reaction.
I think there's a lot of people who's like, it's a really short trailer. You can't say what the rest of the humor in the movie. And if you were cutting that trailer, you probably would put a lot of those lines in because they're good lines. And it's just like, obviously in the comics, a lot of his humor doesn't rely upon him saying, mother effer. Yeah. And saying shit repeatedly and using obscenity.
Yeah.
So a lot of the humor comes from him being self-aware of the Marvel universe and using parody and satire and all those sort of things. Maybe harder to convey them in the trailer. There was glimpses of it because when he said, "Please don't make the suit green or animated," that's an awareness and a sense of humor that I think is more associated with the character than just being foul-mouthed.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's it makes for a good trailer. Put that stuff in, and also immediately it says this is different to other stuff you've seen.
Yeah.
I think the suit looks amazing there, and there's it. When he shoots
some,
3 people through the head simultaneously, it's
really
a really stylish moment in that trailer.
Yeah. But then obviously the one that I guess there's a lot of kind of talk about is Suicide Squad. And I really didn't like it. No. And like we chatted about it briefly.
I think that's been the most divisive one because there's loads of people who really dig it.
Yeah.
Like even internally at IGN, there's like an email thread going around about it, and loads of people seem like, I was so down on this movie after all the kind of the officially released stills and the unofficially leaked stills and mobile phone shots, and those people like really into it suddenly. I think we're all in this room a bit more reserved about it. Like, I think it's a really cool choice of song, and it's cut together quite well into a trailer. Yeah. Like, I think the trailer is okay, quite like some of the footage in it, but I still think I don't really know what they want to do with that movie, because in the trailer it looks like you've got multiple origin stories.
Yeah.
Because you can see Harley before she's Harley, you can see Enchantress before she's Enchantress, Deadshot before he's Deadshot.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the structure of the movie is almost like the TV version of like Stephen King's It, where you've got like they maybe go on one mission, and through that mission, you have a moment with each character, and it's like a flashback for that character or something like that.
It was just
which is a bit unwieldy.
It was the line from Will Smith where he's like, "So what? We're kind of some kind of Suicide Squad."
Oh, so we're the Patsies. The suicide. Is that thread going around? Like we should him in every movie
film he's ever made. Yes.
That should
so we're going
thing.
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But they actually do say that in Back to the Future, though.
So what about Joker? Because obviously that was the kind of big finishing point.
That's my impression.
No like.
I fear with this one, like I said with Deadpool, I fear that over the course of 2 hours that Harley Quinn and maybe Jared Leto's Joker will get on my nerves.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, we're a long way out and you can't judge on a bit of footage, but, you know, these very broad performances that are very over the top, they can go either way. They can really go either way.
How did you feel about when you watched the trailers for Dark Knight and obviously Heath Ledger's Joker?
I was pretty excited. I was pretty excited when I saw that.
Okay.
It was so different and so unique.
Yeah.
Whereas this almost feels like a bit of a variation on what he did, but taking it maybe even more over the top.
Do you think it's like a trashier version of that?
Yeah, and it's really unfair because it's like you're getting a glimpse of a line here and there. But I'm suitably intrigued. I still think he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I never found the Heath Ledger Joker to be annoying at any point. I was just kind of scared of him.
But just properly off the scale.
Wasn't particularly scared of this one in those glimpses.
I don't know. I feel like there's so little of it in that trailer, so you're over extracting from a small amount. But I didn't mind. I thought his voice was quite good. Like he kind of growls I'm not gonna kill you, and he growls on it. But again, you don't know what the rest of it's gonna be like. And it's one scene where he's not got his shirt on, and what's the rest of his costume going to be like? Yeah, but like it's a torture scene. He's torturing Harley in that scene to make her into Harley Quinn rather than Dr. Quinzel. That's quite a horrible thing. And also,
brief glimpse of Batman on the back of Joker's car.
Yeah, and also that you extract go back from that. You know, Marvel appeal to everyone. Like you can cuts across lots of ages. People go see it multiple times. Making a film called Suicide Squad, and there's like a torture scene where. You know, a sexually charged torture scene where he tortures this woman to the point where she falls in love with him. That's a pretty twisted thing to put into a summer movie.
Sure.
Or like a mainstream
movie.
But
surely it's not going to get that far. Sure.
It'll still be a 12A, I guess. Yeah. But ultimately, you've got a movie called Suicide Squad.
It was Dark Knight 15.
No, 12A.
12A. We're going to get 2 Batman films in one summer.
That is the insane thing. I like Batman, but maybe that's too much Batman. I don't know.
We'll see how much we get of him in that one. Obviously, Star Wars was there. Heavily hyped, but we heard before Comic-Con started that they wouldn't show any new footage. I didn't believe that, but it actually was true. We got the 3-minute sort of sizzle reel behind the scenes, which was amazing.
That was enough for me.
Yeah, it was really special. But I think you know, for our site and for the people there, they wanted to see something new.
I was happy with that. Like I said before, even seeing the Millennium Falcon cockpit on hydraulics to show that that's the level of detail they're going to in terms of like practical effects and physicality. That excites me. I want that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get the point now that they're doing practical effects.
Also,
though.
I don't care.
They're just slamming it down my throat. It's like, tell me something new.
Also, not that it's disingenuous. Like, obviously, everything they say in that trailer is a real thing. It's going to have as many visual effects as Age of Ultron. It's going to have so many visual effects.
Well, of course.
Of course, and that's the thing. Like, it's the same. Like, you get what you're saying. They're really thrusting that upon you, which is great. And it's like Fury Road. Fury Road had loads of visual effects. It's the blend, I think, more than anything.
But even like, you know, all of the kind of robots, all of the like aliens and stuff like that. You know, the shots of there's a kind of big alien with like.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they're choosing to foreground those elements because you know. Lupita Nyong'o's character is entirely CGI, and so is Andy Serkis. Yeah. Those are two major characters, and they're not being put into the spotlight. They're going, look at all these like background characters. Yeah. So I completely there's loads of practical effects in it, but there's like, for instance, I don't hate Star Wars, but I'm just saying there's two major characters that are entirely CGI.
They'll get to that. They will get to that. But
that's the marketing campaign. If you're gonna like message against the prequels and everything that everyone hated, obviously you play into that.
So it didn't make as big a splash on our site as maybe I thought it might do. And then the big thing of it was the fact that they took everyone off to watch a concert of John Williams music, and everyone got a lightsaber, and it just looked absolutely amazing.
And you watched it from afar? I
watched it. I watched the fireworks from my hotel bedroom because I felt tired and sick. It was all catching up with me, the jet lag.
Could you have gone?
I might have been able to find a way, but I think I was just too tired. But
God damn it, Tilly.
Well, Jim and people had tickets but couldn't go because they had to go back to the studio and do work.
Right.
That would have been really annoying if I had tickets. There was one loser though when it came to that particular concert. Because Chris Hardwick, who was hosting, said to everyone, you know, exciting news. Anyone who wants to come, we're taking all 6,000 of you to watch this concert.
So how many were in the room?
6,500, I think, are in that room.
Holy hell! Right.
Kevin Smith was the person who was up next in Hall H to do a panel, and everyone left. He's just there. Like apparently, I heard the next day that Chris Hardwick had just got a text from him moments after saying, "By the way, buddy, my panel's up next. So make sure everyone sticks around."
Oh god!
Oh my
Poor
gosh.
Kevin Smith, the biggest Star Wars fan in the world.
Yeah. He should have just gone.
Yeah, take the audience with him.
Let's go. I'll chat to you over there, one-to-one.
Gary Witter, who's been on the podcast and who I interviewed while we were there, he was tweeting, he was calling it our generation's Woodstock, that concert. I think he was getting swept away by the emotion of it all.
Bless. So one thing I didn't really get.
Sure.
Ash versus Evil Dead.
You didn't get it?
I don't get it. I've never got the Evil Dead.
Fair enough.
Well, probably not for you then.
Yeah. No, I know, but like, I don't know. It just feels like a movie that I will never ever see. And
TV show.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
That's probably why I'll never see it.
You can get it's like, why are they making a 13-hour movie? Never gonna work.
What? That sounds like a terrible idea, doing a TV show.
Yeah, I think I thought Evil Dead was good. Evil Dead 2 was really good. Army of Darkness, when I revisited, I found just the humour a bit too broad. And, and this looks like it's more that than the real horror. So I'll definitely watch it. Like I do like that character. I like Bruce Campbell, but that's a show that couldn't. There's lots of things that might annoy me this year. But yeah, that's a show that could really annoy me if it's not done right.
So if you had to pick one highlight from Comic-Con, what's yours?
Well, the Danger Mouse announcement.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Did you see the Danger Mouse announcement?
I heard about
though?
it, yes. Yeah.
That's pretty cool casting.
What is it again?
Yeah, but I was asking for your highlight.
I watched Alexander Armstrong's playing Danger Mouse. Kevin Eldon's playing Penfold. Stephen Fry is Colonel K. John Oliver's playing the werewolf doctor in it. Lena Headey's in it. There's some good casting in it.
Lena Headey, that's right.
My highlight was meeting my favourite actor ever, Bill Murray. It didn't go particularly well. It didn't go as I kind of wanted it to go.
You've dreamt of this moment.
Yeah. Just wanted it to go
right. You spent your
right.
entire career building up to this.
Yeah, I didn't even want to interview him. I just wanted to meet him in a social, and I did meet him in a social.
Okay, how did it happen? How did it
exactly.
So I went in the toilet.
Always, every Tilly story.
As listeners to the podcast, regular listeners will know that's where I do my stuff.
All your business.
And I clocked him and thought, oh, got a chance to meet him. And
in the toilet.
So I didn't go to the toilet. I just pretended to blow my nose and went out, waited for him and thought, oh, what do I say? And I thought, well, let's just be really polite. He looks like he's in a hurry, but I'd love to get a picture taken. So I said, excuse me, Mr. Murray, is there any chance of having a photograph with you? Which makes me cringe because I hate doing that. But
it's once in a life.
He said, well, it's very rude for you to do that like that. I've got, do you have a name? Introduce yourself. We can have a conversation. Then you are. Don't just come up to someone. Don't just come up to someone and ask them a question like that. And I said, I'm sorry. I just thought if you're in a rush, you wouldn't want to stick around and have like small talk. And he's like, well, what's your name? And I said, Chris. He goes, there you go. That's how you do it. That's how you have a conversation. Like really patronising and rude. And I felt about this big.
What was he? Do you think he was he joking?
No, I've heard since that he does that. Like he gets annoyed that people just ask him for things without talking to him. So his security guard took the camera and we did the photo, and the bloody the guy couldn't get the camera to work or something, the usual. And then he gave it back to me, and I've got a sense that he felt a little bit bad about what he said to me. So he said, where are you from, Chris? And I said, London. He said, never heard of it, and just kind of walked off. So he got his laugh, like it's quite funny, and he just walked off into the sunset. And so I was like, oh, well, at least I got my Bill Murray joke.
Yeah.
And so
you got a good picture.
That's
as well.
a good joke.
Yeah,
it's a good picture.
Yeah. I couldn't look any happier.
You couldn't look any happier. He couldn't look.
Like if you'd have got the camera back and it was blurred, or like a thumb in front of it, or something.
Well, the
like
first
that.
one was, that's why the guy had taken a bad picture.
Okay. Right.
But also, it was because that day as well, it had been ups and downs. I'd found out he was there the night before. I spent 2 hours trying to convince the publicist to bring him to the studio.
Yeah.
They agreed to, and then that morning they said it's 50-50, but we think he'll come. Chris Carl told me that I was doing the interview, so I prepped all my questions, and then I got a text from Chris saying, yeah, it's not happening anymore. So I was really down. And then saw him.
So you should have said, like, I was.
No, it was in my head. It was in my head, but like it was just like, oh, is this going to make things awkward? If I don't, will it look like I'm being rude to him, saying you blew me out? And we.
Well, I wasn't going to suggest that, but just saying that,
I know.
I'm so excited to meet you.
Ask you about
but, it's fate, it's destiny.
I just it wasn't going well, so I was just like wanted it to stop. So that was my best and worst moment.
What about you, Creeper?
Oh, I can't follow that. I was going to say, I like this trailer. It's rubbish. Great.
Do the Danger Mouse thing.
Yeah, Danger Mouse was good. I don't know what to say now. I've got no story. I was in my bedroom watching fucking trailers.
You could say watching one of my interviews was quite entertaining.
So I watched a Master at work repeatedly over the weekend. I
had ups and downs, let's be honest.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to recount the highs and lows at Chris Tilly at Comic-Con from afar. So the first, so as soon as I tune in on Friday night, one of the first things I actually saw on our live stream was the eminent Chris Tilly interviewing Sue Virtue, and I can't remember the chap's name.
Rupert Graves
plays Lestrade in Sherlock. You were interviewing them about the Christmas special, but it was awkward in the stream because he called it the Christmas special. They don't call it the Christmas special. No. They just call it the special. Yeah. And then they made a point about saying that on the stream to Chris, who was interviewing them live, but it was good. It was eating up time.
I think it's because it might not screen at Christmas.
Yeah,
BBC
they don't want to commit.
So Chris is a Christmas special.
So Chris was interviewing the two of them for about 10 minutes before they did their panel late in the day about the special. Therefore, they couldn't say anything about said special to Chris.
They couldn't even say they were showing a trailer in the panel that was going to be like an hour later.
That's really bad timing.
So basically, it was Chris speaking to a man and a woman for 10 minutes about something. It's really cryptic, but Chris navigated it with good humour and panache.
We had a laugh, didn't we?
Yeah, no, it was funny, but it was a bit like, maybe you schedule this after they've done the panel, maybe, or something like that.
That's insane.
So that was quite funny. And then another highlight of mine was seeing Chris interview Gary Whitta.
Yeah.
Where in the first minute you got the name of his Star Wars movie wrong and you held up his book upside down.
Yeah. I think it was 30 seconds rather than a minute. And rather than let it go, he just absolutely battered me for it.
He really did. He's like, Chris, I know I've thrown you. And,
he was really apologetic afterwards. It really hurt me.
Another great moment was when you interviewed Mike Tyson.
Oh, and Mike Tyson.
You, Brian O'Tana, and Max, I think, all were interviewing Mike Tyson about his cartoon.
He was 15 minutes late, which we were sitting there waiting, which just made it all the worse, waiting for him to come in, like the heavyweight friggin' champion.
Obviously, just like long, rambling answers, and it was a short section, and then they need to rap, and they wouldn't rap. It couldn't rap it because he kept talking. Right. And then at the last minute, he started talking about childhood trauma and speaking to his therapist. It's like, it's like when you have childhood trauma and you talk about this to your therapist, and your therapist says, that's time for today, and you still got stuff to say. And like, they just dipped the lights on them all. Also, Chris is really brave. He's right next to Mike Tyson, and Chris's first question was like, "So what's it like playing the good guy for a change?"
I actually said one time Night Shyamalan that afterwards I heard a couple people laugh in the studio. I thought, well, that was quite rude. I asked him, you know,
that's your style.
Is there any chance of, we're at Comic-Con.
Any chance of you making a good film?
Unbreakable's the closest you've come to a superhero movie, and that film only really got going in the last 2 minutes. So are you going to do another one? And then I was just like, yeah, that's a really rude thing to say to a filmmaker. And it's not exactly what I meant. If you've seen Unbreakable, it only really happens in the last 2 minutes. I'd just reword that next time. But he was good. He gave it. I mean, we got the exclusive there that he said he's really seriously thinking about doing it now.
Right.
Maybe it's a TV show, Unbreakable. What was yours?
It's really boring. Star Wars. I don't care what everybody else says. I'm so hyped about Star Wars.
Well, to be honest, a lot of other people like it.
Everyone else is hyped for it.
But you're so down on it. It's like, oh yeah, people are more excited about that. Like,
no, they just didn't bring new footage.
I just don't know how to contain my excitement for it. That is the problem. Anyway, that is it. That's our roundup of Comic-Con. If you've got your highlights, you can let us know. You can email IGN_UK feedback@IGN.com. Now, that was one of the kind of highlights of the last week or so, but there was some bad news earlier this week when CEO of Nintendo, Iwata, passed away on Monday, I believe, aged 55. Now,
very young.
Incredibly young. Now, I didn't know that much about Iwata, apart from a few cheap gags. But he was CEO of Nintendo for 13 years. He oversaw really what I would say is that company's transition into the mainstream, overseeing like the launch of the Wii, the launch of the DS, and also owning that direct relationship with Nintendo through Nintendo Direct. And I just don't think there is anybody else in the industry like him.
I think the measure of the man was the absolute universal outpouring of love and affection for him, which is weird. You don't really get that for a CEO of a company. I think a CEO is almost synonymous with this cold corporate entity. Like, you can name lots of CEOs who are kind of the butts of lots of jokes. Yeah. Whereas what I love about him, he's the head of a company who knew how to do everything in that company. Yeah. Like, he started as a coder. And like, he was a phenomenal coder. He salvaged Earthbound. He managed to like compact Pokemon Gold and Silver down so they could fill an entire new section of the game. Yeah,
he was the guy that came in and fixed it. And it's
so he obviously
he coded the prototype of Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
like this is a guy that wasn't brought in to just be the mouthpiece of the company. He was the lifeblood of the company.
Yeah, and and it's the thing that I think circulated most frequently on the internet this week. He did this talk at GDC, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and he said, on my business card, I am a corporate CEO. In my heart, and in my head, I'm a game developer. In my heart, I'm a gamer. Yeah. And he's a man who loved video games, loved them in a very pure way, and made his life work. Yeah. And just all the stuff he used to do, and I don't think you really appreciated it at the time because it was just always something he did, like the Iwata Ask, the Nintendo Directs, like the silly things he did. Yeah. Like, he was a corporate CEO, and he was doing videos where he's like jumping around and doing martial arts. Yeah. He's happy to make himself look silly because he wasn't being silly. He was in on the joke with everyone. Yeah. Whereas you used to laugh at people like Steve Ballmer for being a buffoon when he headed up Microsoft. This is a guy who everyone loved and thought they had like a kind of a connection. And that sounds really cheesy, but he created that with people.
But on my Twitter feed, I saw a few people who, like older people like me, that play games with their kids, and their kids were really sad that this guy that they'd had that connection with through Nintendo
He told
Direct,
them about new games.
Were like genuinely shedding a tear, which is it's just unheard of, and I'd be surprised if we ever see anything like it ever again, really.
So. And it's like he was the first elected president of Nintendo that didn't have family ties to the Yamauchi family. Yeah, everything had it, like, just everyone seemed to love the guy.
Yeah, and he oversaw the introduction of the Wii, if I'm not mistaken.
The biggest success.
That changed everything. Like that. That is unique. We're not even, we've gone way past that now. That was a time when everyone was in the living room playing together. We're not really there anymore. Yeah. But for a brief period of time, that changed the world of gaming.
And when it wasn't going quite so well, more recently, he took a 50% pay cut.
Yeah, so no one would get sacked.
It's like,
yeah.
you know,
And there's those amazing quotes. It's like, I never felt like he was my boss. I felt like he was my friend who was enabling me to do my best work.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's what you want from your boss. Rob Crossley from GameSpot made a really nice video, obituary for Iwata.
Yeah.
And where he said, like, yeah, like, maybe the Wii wasn't the biggest success ever, and the 3DS wasn't the biggest success it could have been compared to the predecessors of both consoles. But it's like, that's because Nintendo are a company that take risks. Yeah. And like any company that takes risks, like an Apple, you're going to have failures because that's just the nature of it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's us paying our respects to Iwata. He will be sadly missed.
Yeah.
So let's move on to more positive things. So looking at the kind of the cool stuff that happened this week. Now, Krupa, we mentioned it earlier, but Ant-Man is finally out.
This is the gold of the week.
The gold, if you will.
The gold.
I cannot wait to hear what the bad stuff is called.
We'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, Ant-Man is my pick of the week. It's out this week, and you know this movie was delayed, had lots of problems going in, well-publicized problems. Edgar Wright and Joe Cornish attached to. Edgar Wright. They both wrote the movie. Still get a writing credit on the movie. Edgar Wright was attached for a long, long time. He kind of dropped out. Shooting went back. They had to rewrite the script. And it turns out that it's not a mess. Everyone thought it might have been Marvel's first big kind of failure. Obviously, it still hasn't come out yet, so we're not going to know what kind of money it's going to make. But we saw it a couple of weeks ago. I like it, I think, a lot more than Chris. I don't think it's perfect. I think some of the jokes don't quite land. But I thought it was a really entertaining, fun movie. And generally, reviews have been pretty positive on it.
Yeah.
I don't see how you could really dislike it. It's a very likeable film, and it differs, and as we kind of suspected it might. It's a smaller kind of superhero.
Yeah,
it's scaled things back a little bit, which is really what I wanted from Marvel. You know, obviously everything's big in it because he's small, but that's kind of what I wanted from Marvel was a smaller story.
It's a smaller group of characters
coming
as well.
after Age of Ultron. I think we needed something to cleanse the palette a bit. It's just like you can get your head around and you can understand what's going on.
Because where Avengers is about like excess and like, I mean, actually in Ant-Man they make a couple of digs at kind of the events of the Avengers and how ridiculous it is. This is a small group of characters, it's small kind of family drama, and even though Avengers was kind of, it had to introduce like Wakanda and a few of the Black Panther characters and other stuff like that, Ant-Man does actually set up quite a few other things, but I think he does it in a much more savvy and natural way that doesn't feel as crowbarred in there. I think Paul Rudd obviously is really likeable. I think Michael Douglas is great.
Yeah,
I really like Michael Douglas in it. I think he adds a lot of kind of gravity.
But neither of them are the star of the show, are they?
Do you think it's thing?
I think Michael Pena. It's so bizarre. He plays one of Paul Rudd's friends, a criminal. And, you know, I don't want to give much away, but just the way he's decided to perform it and the lines he's got.
He's not like that at all in real life.
He's so funny. It's by far the funniest character in that universe now.
Right.
Like, you know, I went in thinking Paul Rudd is going to be the kind of the wisecracking. He's going to be the new funniest thing in that universe. They're going to have to write him into other movies.
Michael Pena's imagine if he turns up in like a really more serious movie. I think he will.
I interviewed him for the World Trade Center movie.
Yeah,
that was serious.
Because because I think for a long time people were thinking that Ant-Man feels like the Marvel movie that kind of got gestated in isolation. It's going to be less involved in the bigger Marvel universe. And that's not the case whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that's maybe where the Edgar Wright thing diverged, because what we heard was they wanted it to tie in more neatly. And there's lots of cool stuff. Yeah, and two really good Easter eggs and post-credit sequences.
Yeah. I just found it ever so slightly bland. Okay. Like it's not stayed with me that much. But that said, I will be seeing it again. I think I want to make pass judgment after 2 viewings on that one.
I think the finale is amazing.
Anyway. There you go. One of the things I'm excited about, a new trailer for Transformers Devastation, which came out at Comic-Con this week. If you don't know, it's Transformers. But it's Transformers done by Platinum Games, which have got a history of doing amazing action games. Have you seen the trailer?
Yes.
What did you think?
Yeah, I think on paper, amazing. I'm slightly worried because Platinum makes some exceptional games, but they also make a couple of quick games.
Sure.
Like the Legend of Korra game, which looks like in a similar style.
Yeah.
Got really terrible reviews and was really repetitive. So I hope it's like the rest of the work. Because the director is the same as Revengeance, which is a great game.
See, that's the thing. Like, it has the potential to be incredible because it's pretty simple.
The art style is amazing.
Yeah, the art style is incredible. and it has the potential to be amazing in terms of it's a simple idea. It's basically robots fighting robots.
And it's G1.
But they do that really well. Platinum does like kind of arcade combat better than anybody else. So it could be amazing. You are right. It could be average. But from what I saw...
It's just because I don't know if they've grown their studio a lot, but they're making a lot of games as well. They're making that. They're making the Scalebound game.
But I thought he looked awesome.
But it's the first Transformers game that I thought... Actually, that really
well, it's like your Transformers as well.
Exactly, yeah.
It's G1.
Everything about it, the visual style, the sound effects and everything, like, oh man, that is
in the way that those movies don't feel like the Transformers we grew up with.
Something else.
Yeah, I saw the trailer when I was over there and thought, ooh, I'm interested in this.
Yeah. So I'm excited, but you're right. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in when we actually get to play it.
This is just a little one. I mean, I was trying to think, like, because I could have given you a million responses from Comic-Con about what's good at the moment, because that was the news this week. Yeah. So I'm just going to talk about something that I picked up from 20 years ago, which is Preacher. A lot of people had told me to read Preacher, never got around to doing it, and then the TV show is in production, and there wasn't anything at Comic-Con, unfortunately, but with that coming, I thought I'll have a go. God, I love it.
Yeah?
Yes. I only read the first 12 issues. I think there's maybe 66 issues altogether, and yeah, I'm well into it immediately. I can see what the appeal is. It's going to make a really good TV show, quite a shocking one, like really dark humour. I can see why the movie probably never took off, because it's called Preacher. There's a very religious bent to it, and it's not nice about Christianity whatsoever. But yeah, and it's Seth Rogen. I've met quite a few filmmakers who, when you ask what their dream project is, they've said Preacher. And so it's Seth Rogen that's getting to do it, him and Evan Goldberg. And I think, yeah, that's in safe hands, because I think they can do something with that dark humour. But yeah, I wish I'd looked at it before. I should have listened to everyone.
You should have listened to it.
Anyone here read it?
No. Oh, unfortunately.
I thought you guys might have. I thought we might have had a conversation. I should have checked.
Yeah.
We borrow it after me.
I think Gav's a fan, isn't he?
Probably.
It's Shep's favourite comic.
Right.
Someone we work with. I'll bring it in after.
Okay. On the topic of Seth Rogen, I watched 22 Jump Street the other day, which I think for the first, when the credits rolled to when the credits finished, I thought was really average. But I thought the end credit sequence was by far and away the best stuff.
Definitely. It's the funniest bit in the film.
And I'd quite happily have just watched that like 2-minute sequence.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No. It's in the first one.
They kind of screwed themselves now, because they can't do any of those ideas, but they're really good ideas.
Well, don't watch the film, just watch the
Okay, I'll just do that then. It sounds quicker.
It's out there now. I think we might have spoiled it for everyone.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't seen it, and I was literally about to switch off, and then that rolled, and I was like, this is great.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. The last thing that's gold for me, actually, it sits somewhere between gold and mould. Creepers, not mine.
I'm giving it away now.
Is Black Ops. Call of Duty Black Ops revealed its zombie cast. Now it's set in the 1940s. It's called Shadows of Evil, but it's got some really kind of big Hollywood celebs. It's got Ron Perlman, Heather Graham, and Jeff Goldblum, which is kind of incredible. But
Call of Duty doing this a lot recently. Like, they had Malkovich recently, and they also had Spacey last year.
Spaceman.
Have you seen the trailer?
No.
It's very different from those.
No, but I'm talking about getting Hollywood.
Yeah. Now, I couldn't pick out any of Jeff Goldblum's lines in there. If he is in there, then maybe he's doing a funny voice. But it is...
He always does a funny voice.
But it's practically... it's kind of... It's Ron Perlman going... I'm doing... Just wait. Shh. It's Ron Perlman just making like funny quips as he shoots a zombie in the head. So I like the idea of that they got these big Hollywood heavyweights in there. I'm not sure the execution is going to be that cool. Rory is the man. Rory loves zombies.
We actually spoke to Ron Perlman at Comic-Con.
And?
I don't know. I just heard it was challenging.
Oh, good.
It was one that I really wanted to do, and I put my name forward, and I couldn't fit it in my schedule, and then I was quite glad I didn't.
Right.
Love it when that happens.
Just to add it on top of all of your other classic
awkward interviews.
Oh,
I really missed out on that other awkward interview. I could have made awkward.
Like one of the really bad things that happened this week, one of the definite moulds, was that there was a Dead Island 2 Jaeger bomb. You won't get that joke. It's a really good joke.
You're so happy with it.
I'm so happy with it. So
I know what all those words mean.
So Dead Island 2
yeah.
was in development by a team called Jaeger.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah.
But they've Deep Silver and Jaeger have since split, so it's a bit of a Jaeger bomb.
Yep. On that Jaeger bombshell.
Yeah, so see, that's a game that was due to come out in spring this year, and then literally about 2 or 3 weeks beforehand, it was like, it's gone back to next year, and then here we are. They've split with the developer, so
who's making it?
I can't see how that's going to end nicely.
No,
but
it'll hopefully have a kick-ass trailer,
and also a really good pun, just like that.
Trailers though, using slow music like that Suicide Squad one does. If you change the music, I don't know. I think the music, we said with Dead Island.
The original Dead Island was the kind of pioneer for that in terms of
most definitely,
like changing things, turning things on its head. And the Dead Island 2 trailer was good as well. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember, I do,
the guy running along Venice Beach. But I was excited about Jaeger developing that game because they had a history of making games that were narratively quite strong.
Yeah.
And the original Dead Island was good for action, but
it's a bit knockabout, was it?
So it would have made a nice mix, but who knows? I have no idea what's going to happen with that game. I don't even know I guess the next time we'll probably see it is maybe even E3 next year. I don't know. But
God knows.
No time soon. It's dead in the water.
One thing that Dan and I saw today, in fact, although we can't get a hand on it, it's early footage. So we saw 15 minutes from the new Peter Pan movie called Pan, which is directed by Joe Wright, a very esteemed British director. And it stars Hugh Jackman and Garrett Hedlund and Rooney Mara and a new young chap called Levi, something or other.
Yeah.
Australian kid, plays Peter Pan. And yeah, it was hard to get a handle on it, but we weren't overly impressed, I think it's fair to say.
No. So there's a few points in the trailer which kind of jarred a little bit. So I think the first one, and the one that we're both in massive agreement about, was there's a scene where Peter is whisked away. He's stolen from his orphanage. It seems like it's set they talk about evacuation.
Yeah, it looks like it's World War II.
It's World War II,
yeah.
So 1939 to 45, that sort of period. And he's whisked away to Neverland. He arrives there. This is before the time of Captain Hook. Blackbeard is in charge, played by Hugh Jackman, and he's like liberated all these kids, and they seem to be like at work for him in a mine.
Yeah.
And before Blackbeard arrives to address them, they start chanting.
Yeah.
And the thing
chanting like a choral
thing like they want him. They're beckoning him out of his ship. And in my head, I was like, I recognise that. What's that?
Yeah.
What is that?
You knew immediately.
And then when the lights out. Entertainers.
Yeah.
It
smells like
Teen Spirit by Nirvana.
And it's like, what?
And then Hugh Jackman emerges. He jumps up into on this little stand. He starts shouting it back at them. I'm like,
yeah, it's this weird juxtaposition. You're like, it's shoehorning in this song that they thought would be cool to put in this scene, and it makes no sense.
Mad Max Beyond Thunder.
Well, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But I don't understand.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know what it means.
Right.
Also, it's so jarring in the context of the film. It's like, where has this come from? Because that's a real world song, and you're creating a fantasy, and the real world this fantasy is based upon is a kid's life in the 1930s, 40s.
That song hadn't been written for 40 years.
That's where it's really strange for me, and it takes me completely out of the moment. Because
I can deal with stuff like that. Like The Great Gatsby did it, and Knight's Tale did it. I don't mind it. It just felt like the wrong song choice, to be honest, as well. Like it just felt like it.
Well, Joe Wright said that the tone of the film is mischievous film, and Nirvana were pretty mischievous.
They were.
I mean, we'll see. It's obviously a film, and they mentioned this in a Q&A afterwards. That's aimed at parents and children alike, which I guess a lot of these blockbusters are these days. It felt to me much more like a kid's film than something that you and your mates would go and see.
Right.
And it's being set up as like a, they're obviously wanting it to be a franchise.
A new Potter.
And
right.
We'll see. It's hard to judge it, I think, as an adult, because it felt like I was watching 50 minutes of a kid's film.
And like a lot of the performances, particularly, like I actually didn't mind Hugh Jackman in it. He's doing a thing. He's doing a cartoon character.
It's pretty broad.
It's like almost like a Mighty Boosh kind of thing. Like it's a big performance, but it kind of works because that's what it's all about. I thought some of the sets looked really set-like. as well. There's one. No, but it doesn't look this bit where they're like it's supposed to be this enclave within a jungle, and it looks like they're on a soundstage.
Right. I said to Dan that was my problem with Hook. You didn't feel like you were in Never Never Land. You felt like you were in a studio that was being done up to look like Never Never Land.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We've got it's out at Christmas, but we weren't overly enthused.
As a side note, have either of you seen the shovel that sounds like Teen Spirit?
I haven't. No, I keep seeing people tweeting about it, and I keep saying, "Do I want to click on this?"
I actually eventually clicked on it. It's actually really good. Shall I get it? Shall I get it up on the phone? I'll get it up in a minute.
On your phone while Chris is telling us
we'll come
about
back to it. People love this shit.
Mold.
Okay, and again, this is one where I can't really judge this early, but this is something that's very close to my heart. Alex, are you a fan of The Last Starfighter?
I've seen it, but do you know what? It's one of those films that I literally could not tell you anything about.
It's worth a rewatch.
Right. Okay.
It's one of those 80s movies that really holds up. It's got that Amblin kind of, even though it's not an Amblin movie, that Amblin thing that makes you feel like a kid again when you watch it.
Right.
And it's a really well put together story. It's a 1984 movie. It's about a kid who lives in a trailer park, is depressed, just wants to escape, and he's really good at this video game. And it turns out it's not just a video game. It's been this cabinet has been sent to planets all over the universe, and it's a test to find the starfighters to fight this intergalactic war that's happening. And so he ends up being beamed up into space and goes on this amazing adventure. And it's pretty much ever since it's come out, people have said, let's do a sequel or a remake. And the guy that owns the rights has just been very mysterious, been hard to get hold of. I know Seth Rogen wanted to do it. Spielberg wanted to do it. Gary Whitta certainly was trying to get hold of the rights.
Right.
And this guy started doing interviews lately, and he said that he didn't even know the rights had reverted back to him, which I think is quite interesting. But he's just announced at Comic-Con that they're going to do a TV show.
Right.
Awesome. But then the more I read about it, the more I thought, oh, this isn't what I wanted at all. It's doing it with a company called Surreal, and it doesn't continue the story at all. And I read somewhere that it will have nothing to, they won't involve a video game or this adventure, which is the whole point of it.
Yeah.
That it could be you.
Well, that's,
all the time you spend in the arcade could actually be working towards something. So they're talking about a serialized story about alien law enforcement, about instilling a moral code. And this is from, I think, Variety. While most of it is meant to be viewable on plain old TVs, it would also feature special scenes that break the frame, allowing viewers equipped with virtual reality headsets to look around and explore the inside of a spaceship or immerse themselves in an alien firefight. And it's called Starfighter Chronicles. And, I mean, I guess people should start developing these kind of things now for the future. But right now, like, I'm not interested in that.
No.
What TV broadcaster is going to broadcast that if everyone's going to require a VR set?
Yeah.
It just seems like an idea that might not come to fruition.
Yeah.
When this would be a very easy thing to reboot and make a really great new franchise out of.
Yeah. When there's been so much anticipation, and we could have had something that we really wanted.
Yeah. We'd have had Spielberg and Seth Rogen and Gary. I don't know. We'll see, but anyway, who knows?
We'll all be sat there with our Oculus Rifts on, looking at the inside of a spaceship, going, "This is amazing."
I did try the virtual reality Warcraft app,
right?
Which I'm meaning you to have a go. You did it, Dan, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's quite good fun.
Yeah.
You download it. You download the app to your iPhone and then put it in this little
cardboard box.
Yeah,
I've seen them.
Yeah, and you ride a griffin for like 2 minutes. It's really good.
That's what Chris did for the Comic-Con. Chris, do you want to do your interview?
Well, it was embarrassing. I was with the director of Warcraft, his wife, and the guy who did the visual effects. And they were like, "Oh, you've got to try this." And they handed me the box. I was like, "Yeah, I will." And they were like, "No, try it now." We're in the middle of Comic-Con. There's people wandering around. I've got this thing on. They made me watch it twice, second time with music. I'm going like this while I'm pretty sure they were photographing me and filming me, which is quite embarrassing.
That's what always happens with VR.
Yeah, that is the point of virtual reality.
So, yeah, I wasn't best pleased about that, but do give it a go.
Okay.
GG.
I should point out that's not all the shovels.
Because
what they've done there, you may not realise, they might have cut that with the actual song.
That's just the dung-da.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just that bit.
Even that sounds fake.
Lovely stuff.
That's not in pan.
Let's move on to listener feedback. And who's got the first bit?
First bit is from Andrew Vogt, friend of the podcast. He's just written in to share his thoughts on the passing of Satoru Iwata. He said he's one of the precious few people in the industry that always kept his focus on what I feel has taken a backseat in the gaming industry lately: fun and accessibility. I love a lot of grim and gritty stuff we see nowadays too, of course, but I always found his attitude both refreshing and uplifting. And we had several emails to a similar effect.
I have an email from Carl Chester Marsden who says, this week I made a slot in my diary for Ex Machina after hearing many good things in the last few months. I really enjoyed the film and felt it could have been called Black Mirror's Ex Machina, as its style seemed very familiar to that of Charlie Brooker's Channel 4 hit. My question to you is, what TV show would you like to have a big screen release?
I guess it's like Black Mirror in that it's just smart sci-fi. Like you could apply that to a lot of things, and Black Mirror is a bit like The Outer Limits and The Twilight Zone, but with a bit more technology. Glad you liked it though. We loved it. Another Charlie Brooker thing that I really liked was Dead Set. I mean, it was a perfectly formed little TV show. Zombie.
Big Brother thing?
Yeah. Much better than it sounds when you hear the idea.
Yeah.
Because it's him writing. It's really, really smartly put together. Yeah. That would make a good movie. Banana Man. Written about that before.
Are you segued?
I think there is a Banana Man movie in kind of they're trying to get made at the moment, but Banana Man. It's right for a really good superhero spoof, I think. Yeah. And Banana Man would do the job.
Will that translate to America? Surely Banana Man.
Well, they have bananas in America.
Yeah, but
they have men.
Banana Man was ever. Where was he from?
He's from
English.
Acacia Avenue.
Acacia Avenue. Yeah. Eric. He's called Eric.
Super Ted. Like.
I've got Super Ted down there.
Oh my God.
Of course you have.
All right, I'll let you guys discuss more.
What have you got?
My problem is that I feel that very few TV shows translate well to movies.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to see no TV shows translated to movies. He suggested.
There you go, Kyle. No, nothing. Because I'm going to actually go with the spirit of the question. Okay. It's a cool concept. Quantum Leap.
I've written down Quantum Leap.
I'm sure that's.
Have you not seen Source Code? Have you not seen Source Code?
Yeah, but that's
Quantum Leap.
So that's why I think they should do a Quantum Leap movie.
What about Danger Mouse?
Well, we're getting a TV show.
Joking.
But
it works as a TV show, but not as a movie.
Loads of good TV shows have made good movies.
Like what?
I can't think of any right now. 21 Jump Street's a good example.
That was a movie. That was never a TV show.
Alex didn't realise that before the podcast. It was a massive TV show. Like when you were like 16, it was a massive TV show.
I was too busy watching Red Wolf.
Alice was working.
I was working at down Pit.
Down to Amiga magazine.
21 Jump Street was one of the reasons I asked my dad to get Sky.
TJ Hooker.
That was never a film.
No, but I want it to be a film.
Do you? It wasn't actually that good.
The Equalizer, but that was a film.
That you liked?
I liked.
Well, that you just answered your own question.
But Ewa Weewa wasn't in it.
I'm glad we put this question in.
You've shown yourself up.
I do know that it was a film that I liked.
MASH went the other way, so that doesn't count. I could think of millions, but let's move on. I'd rather not.
Go on then.
Harry Emson, wrote in to say, I wanted to ask what superhero movie you guys are each looking forward to the most. There's lots. Personally, I'm most looking forward to Infinity Wars.
I'm most looking forward to Doctor Strange because that's got a big Thespy cast.
I'll cross that out then. That's my choice.
Oh, great!
So right, I've got a second.
Chiwetel Ejiofor, Benedict Cumberbatch, Tilda Swinton, directed by horror director Scott Derrickson. They say it's going to open the supernatural into the Marvel universe. I think that could have loads of really distinctively weird and horrific things in it. When you've got villains like Nightmare and Dormammu and stuff, that's going to be cool.
I'm going to go Deadpool after seeing the trailer from Comic-Con. Just something that feels a bit different from all the other superhero stuff that we've seen recently.
Yeah. Hopefully we're going to get one of the stars of Deadpool in the office next week as well. You can check him out. There's a good interview with him already on the site. Ed Skrein is his name. He was in Game of Thrones. But yeah, he's in Deadpool and he's the new Transporter.
I was going to say, is he Optimus Prime?
He's Rodimus.
I'm going to go with Guardians of the Galaxy 2 because I like that film so much, and they're the characters I just most want to spend more time with out of anyone in any of these universes. So
cool.
So yeah, we've gone 2 Marvel and 1 Fox.
Marvel.
Poor
old DC.
No,
who always get in the neck?
Me and Croops always get in the neck for being anti-DC, but
it's not released enough yet.
We say what we see.
Creeper.
Good. Jamie Martin, who heads up the IGN UK podcast Facebook group. He's written in because we've got this ongoing thing. We have the good stuff, the bad stuff of every week. He's written in with suggestions that we might use in the future episodes. So write in with more suggestions. How can people write in and suggest them, Alex?
They can email IGN_UK feedback@IGN.com.
We shouldn't say them now. We should just use them rather than golden mould.
Don't diss Creeper's Go on.
We'll do Jamie's next week for a bit of continuity. We've teased it this week.
Okay.
You can find out Jamie's on next week's show.
Oh.
If someone who's on next week's show remembers to use them.
The first cliffhanger of the new season.
The new 289 episode run season.
I've got an email from Marty Kings who writes in and says hi.
Hello. That's what he wrote. Thanks, Marty.
But good to know that the email was checked for viruses by Avast antivirus software, so I don't think we were infected.
That's classic Marty, though.
He's writing in.
Classic Marty.
At least he's made the effort, and you can too.
He's blunt.
Is he?
Yep.
So to finish this week's podcast, we're just going to tease a competition that's going on right now on site. Actually, you can't. If you're listening to this, you can win a 1 terabyte PS4 filled with a ton of games, some of which were picked by me and by him, but not you.
Can I have one pick?
If you pick one of the games on the list, you can.
Got it.
Pick a game.
That one.
No, just pick one. I'll tell you if it's on the list.
Words with Friends.
Oh, God damn it.
Duck Hunt.
What? Do you know what?
Arkham Asylum. Arkham City.
Arkham Knight is on there.
Damn you.
I will watch Godfather.
Oh, here we go.
What's going on here?
I almost said Goodfellas. I will watch Godfather if you play all the way through Arkham Knight.
Oh, as if. That'll take me bloody years. I did play the first one.
How much?
I played it for about an afternoon.
That's good. Good of you.
I think that's quite good. Double the time you probably spend watching The Godfather Part 1.
Yeah, but it's taken me this long to get as far as, as not as far as anything.
So if I wanted to win this...
Didn't say anything.
Anyway, so some of the stuff that's up for grabs is Bloodborne Nightmare Edition.
My pick.
Super limited edition.
Buy for love nor money.
You can buy it for a load of money.
Okay. So you could eBay it if you win the competition. My pick of the games that's going to be in there is Grand Theft Auto 5 because it's a brilliant game. Get The Last of Us remastered, which is a classic.
This is actually one of the best prizes we've done.
Yeah.
Like we've given away some right rubbish.
Yeah.
But this is actually really good.
Yeah.
Luke Marley picked Dragon Age Inquisition, which was IGN's Game of the Year last year. That's part of the bundle. What did you pick?
I put Marvel Lego.
Oh, well, not everyone's a winner, but that's okay.
Funny.
But if you want to get involved and you want to win that competition, do check out the site. We'll put the link in the story for the podcast, which you'll find on IGN.com. And I think that's pretty much it for this week. Anything else to add?
No, it feels like it's been a long one.
Ooh, good.
Apologies for that.
Long but exciting, hopefully.
Yeah, lots to say.
Good. That's it for this week, and we will, of course, be back same time next week. So until then, goodbye.
But this is...
Well, what is it?
This because we just prepped going in.
What
So it says he talks about Iwata.
Oh, it's almost sick in my mouth. No, that's so close. Oh, Jesus. Sorry.
Were you recording all this?
I thought a little burp was going to come out, but quite a lot of liquid
Can
came
we
up
put
as
this
well.
Can we put this in a Z? Oh.
Woo!